What's good? You rocking with your boys. All right, reserve, share, subscribe. In the description below, you're going to see the first ever set of apparel with the branding Czar Empires, the team. That is the name of the website after the store. So go over to the descriptions of the other lives I've done, and you'll be able to click, repaste the link, and go get some of the first apparel. I have apparel for CommenterNation Originals, and I have apparel for the Czar's Basics. Here in the next week, I'm going to have more apparel. If you purchase some of the apparel I have up now, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a discount code to get the other apparel that's actually going to be featured. So I held off on it so the guys designing and different things. So what drops is going to be fire on top of that. And it's going to have some of our favorite phrases along with my logos on them. Yasmina, if you could start making some of the other logos and emailing them through. I have some more I'm trying to push out. Make the newer ones. And what I'm going to do is I will customize logos and things for you and give them to you at a discounted price. And I'll make sure your name's on the logo along with whatever you want to be listed on the logo. Whether you want it on the front, the back, whatever you want to do, I'll have that ready for you. We got a lot more coming out with that type of stuff. I linked up. What's up, everybody? Go over to teesprings.com/store/Czar Empires, the team. And in between Czar, you'll see a dash in between. So it's Czar dash Empires dash the dash team. And that's how we're going to rock. As you know, Czar Empires branded. I have other businesses that I work with, but this is going to be the official channel just for my business dealing with apparel with YouTube. Soon you're going to see it popping up with the videos. It'll be easy access, but I'm not popping them up with the video until I bring in my other logos. These are my primary logos that you see that have been banners on my channel. So you'll have them and you'll see your favorite phrases. You can go over, grab some mugs. You can grab whatever you want, mugs, bags for women. We also got cell phone covers and all sorts of things that my logo's on. So go over and check that out. That's going to be in the description of all the lives I've done this week, including this one. So go over if you can't find it. Click on the live in the description box at the very top. You'll see that URL for you to access and check out what I got on there. Now, let me get into this. Backstories. There seems to be a backstory to everything. There was a commenter who I'm interested in knowing exactly who it was that commented a certain way. And what they said was that X had violated one of the individuals you guys were speaking about. Now, I want to figure out more detail about that. Again, I have my idea of what they're talking about, but my question was, what was it worth? What was it worth? There's a lot of backstories, and I believe the writing's on the wall. If you look in detail, you'll see different premises. Now, again, shout to the person. I've seen that interview before. Maybe that interview's alluding to their decision-making ability. Maybe it's not. But I watched it, and it did seem that the person was alluding the purpose of what was going on and the fact that they were owed something. But I remember one time they were indebted. That's my confusion. That's what really gets me confused because he looked out for everybody. So I'm kind of confused. And again, I agree with a person. Let's say he wasn't the best person in his life. He made mistakes. So did a lot of other people. But the thing is, are their mistakes continued? And it's funny how he's gone when he chose to turn over a new leaf. Now, there's a lot of backstories to dealing with the accusations against him. Backstories around the time he was in prison. But here's the thing. I'll only accept understanding so much because the bottom line is I actually have audio. dealing with some of these situations. That's where my confusion's in, you know? And that's kind of what gives me the premise of lack of understanding for why things were done that way. So let me ask everybody else, what are your thoughts overall? Do you feel that there was something like a backstory that led to this situation? Now, I've checked, and for some reason, I'm seeing suspects in some of the pictures of them just hanging out. So where everyone's just chilling, I see pictures of people. So they're in the backgrounds while he's there. So he wasn't unfamiliar with them, which leads me to believe that they could have ended up there randomly. But at the same time, why wouldn't they interact with someone that you hung around? You ever see that person that you're familiar with, but you may not hang out with all the time? The usual that you do is you catch up with them. You split up with them. You don't just walk by them. That's where my problem's at. Now, this gets a bit deeper because I'm starting to look into things, and I looked into one of the people on the list that is an officer that is literally a part of it. So this officer is literally a part of the case, declaring his evidence. But when we look into it, sir, what is this place that you live at? Now, I found several different addresses for you. Well, two to be exact. The one, it doesn't look like a natural address. So I'm kind of confused. Let me say this. If you think that there's no such thing as authority not being dirty, you're a little confused. This has been history. This is a well-known situation that things have occurred. But that's what I'm trying to say. When I look into you, there's disturbing things to find it. And the other two, I'm working my way through y'all. But so far, we found some very interesting things. Not only where y'all live, but how long y'all been there, the type of place you're around. And there's officers I'm finding in Pompano Beach. And it's really making me think, how well acclaimed and associated were they with some of the people involved in this case? Shout out to Isabella. Thank you for coming through. And that's my thing. We don't support that sucker movement type stuff. The sucker movements where I'm catching guys beating on women and things. What type of gratification are you getting out of the situation, if at all? What's really going on? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to see what's up. And in the future, hit me up. I will talk with Isabella and Queen about making product. And I want them too to get some branding up. So, Yaz, what I want you to do is make something dope for Isabella and Queen too. One of each to demo it out and make it dope and see what they think about it. And we'll see what they're saying. Again, working with masters of the graphics, different things we got going on. Again, Czar Empires is the team. It's an empire. It's a movement. That's part of what it is. I had spoke on some things that people had mentioned the other day, but right now, we're objective. We're not only doing investigations into the people that's doing the beatings and things. We're looking at people that's supposedly credible on this case. That's why I'm trying to figure some things out. I know who's credible on the case and who's not just by the type of vibe. We're looking at the background you have to even be in your position. Yo, here's my thing. Now, I know what it takes to be in a lawful position. I know the type of things they check. I'm confused how some of you are around there with a badge and a gun after some things I read you did. I'm like, now, I ain't never did some stuff like that. So how is this person around? And what's funny is you think wiping your past or getting it wiped away is going to stop it from coming up. It comes up if you do more crimes. So why are you so credible opposed to other people who was on the case? Because I don't remember your names on the case at the very beginning. I seen them. So why have names changed on the case? This is alleged. I don't know if you were part of it and not mentioned. I don't know, but it's making you seem like you were first on the scene. And if you were, I'm very curious because I saw no pictures of you. Who's this female's name that is supposedly authority of a witness. She was never seen there. I have no photos of her. I've never heard of her. And again, the searching I do, it gets eerie. Ooh, let me get into something else. Okay. I'm not going to say your name because you're on the witness list. But let me ask you this, and let me ask you this sincerely. We did a search of a background of one of the people on this witness list, right? Multiple places. Matter of fact, it seems that you're a woman of mastering mystery. Like, you're mysterious. You're everywhere. Different businesses in other states, different things going on. And they're asking you for questioning. But I'm looking at the club you're at, and I'm thinking to myself, is this the same club that such and such was at? It's real crazy. Like, it's crazy, y'all. If all those people was at that place at the same time, I'm shocked. It looked empty, right? We seen the video. The video was empty. How were you there and what were you doing there? Now, I'm not going to call your name out again out of respect because maybe you got a reason. But I'm going to say this. You're a certified businesswoman. I see you got businesses all up the coast. I mean, in states where you don't even live, with different small changes to your name. I'm not getting it. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt, but the more I'm looking into it, it's really not breeding anything. That's why this is the writings on the wall and backstories, because I'm writing on the wall. I'm seeing a puzzle start to form. And it's multiple people, but her in particular. It's like, what do you have to do with it? I'm not understanding this. How do you know? Do you know something about someone not telling the truth or something? Because even your statement was pulled, and that's what made me look more into who you were, yo. That's kind of crazy to me. Because when I look at the way things make sense, it's not sensible. It's not making sense. And I seen more surrounding exactly who you were. And it made me say, wait, yo, this woman is everywhere but nowhere. And it's not just you. You're connected to other people that have the same background, synonymous. I'm trying to figure out what that means. People have many different things going on, but you and them share multiple businesses and things. Now, let me say this. To be involved in a business this way, and literally it be affluent of the fact that you're involved in this type of business, but it involves religious related things. Let's say that, so I know what I'm talking about. It involves religious related things, and I'm finding this synonymous. So I'm like, is the guise of nonprofits new come up for people? So I'm trying to figure out why you're on this list, how you will be there, and the fact you're there. What are they saying that you're affluent with? I mean, I could toss it out because it is there, but I just don't, because I'm trying to figure out what your game was, what your motives were. I'm trying to see exactly what it is you knew in this situation, because I got a church name linked to you. I got a church name linked to someone else who's familiar with you. And I got a lot of people moving around in specific places that it looks like you're affluent with. So that's my thing. And here's my thing. And Omar, let me just say, magic, the thing is, when you cast incantations and you do it in a dark demeanor, the danger with that is when someone's prayed up, you chance destroying yourself with it. See, that's the thing. If what you chant goes against someone who isn't with a conditional mentality, it ends up blowing back on you. It really does. And that's what I'm trying to say. A lot of people don't realize that. Like, you can't play with magic. You can't play with it. And magic, it takes at the sacrifice of something. So every time you do it, it's sacrificing something. That's the whole thing behind it. That's why hard work and the human spirit is much better off accomplishing than anything someone's talking about. So thoughts are that we got to get things moving in the right direction in order for an understanding to be made. So here's my thing. A lot of different technicalities are beginning to pop up. So technicalities dealing with conversations, technicalities dealing with people's behavior after the fact. And the thing is, this is something that needs to be understood. You can't play that way. When you play things quick and dirty and get your hands dirty that way, risk it all. And the question is, what was it worth? Ultimately, what was it worth? That's why I spoke on it how I did, and that's why I speak on it how I always speak on it. I got other stories that I'm going to be adding in. And the thing is, the insight I have to provide to them, I think it's going to be alarming to some, and it's going to help you to see things. The smallest thing of understanding. There's no edge of YouTube I haven't went to and from around to understand. I've read everything. I watch nearly everybody that's interesting, and I understand it. Shout to everybody working in. I just wanted to say that we are looking at the people that are collecting evidence, supposedly on this case, to speak about it. But that's my thing. The more I look into y'all look shady and you're the authority. That's what I'm trying to say. I have checked out locations. Some of the locations aren't even residential. How does an officer of the law live at a location that's not residential? That doesn't make sense. Any location would be residential if it's livable, which tells me that something isn't right. Because if I do a normal search on someone being at a certain location, it should come up as a residence. But when it's coming up like in a warehouse location, near the scene of the crime type location, it gets eerie. It starts getting real eerie and shaky. And it makes me wonder about the case itself and what's actually going on. Who's doing favors for who? It just gets deep. And I have that. And I don't know. I'm going to need proof that you were at the scene of the crime. That's what I'm saying. I need proof you were there. Because when I'm looking, I'm like, that's not the name of the officer I had. And I'm getting this from direct people. I was like, there's no way this person was there. How was he there? How are they going to be condemning suspects? What did they see? Because as we know, law enforcement and everything showed up late. You guys didn't even show up on time. You were late. So what did you see? What information did you get? Or could it be that you were aware of something else going on? Like the fact that evidence was screwed up to some way. There has to be a reason you're on there. And I do not currently believe it's directly affiliated with the way the case went. I have too much evidence showing against it, let alone I have articles and articles of names of individuals arrested for doing the same behavior. And the behavior got a lot of you out of here. And this isn't too far away. It's less than 5 years ago. The behavior got a lot of you out of there, but for some reason, a few of you were left around. A few of you were left around, and they got another one out of there. Now there's more of you. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Somebody knows someone, and someone's gaining leverage with some authoritative attachment to this case in some way, shape, or form, because it doesn't make sense. The behavior I'm seeing around by individuals, they're very comfortable because they know that there's some way it's going to unravel. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's a little sideways. It's a little sideways. And that's my thing. I don't like the way that it's unfolding. Something ain't right about the case. And that's part of what I'm trying to say. It's too much going on with the case in that way. I spoke yesterday about how women are getting beaten, things. All this stuff happened to women and ain't nothing come out. They didn't even investigate it. Something ain't right. And my thing is, some of these women went public, even from a business setting to going public. How does that work? That's my type of thing. I don't respect that behavior. I don't influence it. I don't encourage it, especially when it's authority abusing their power and abusing their right to certain things. I don't play with that because there's too much sense. But again, we got a lot of intel on some of you guys, and it doesn't look right. We just did a full rundown on one of you. We got two left. But for your names to be on the affidavit, I'm suspecting that something's not right. Something's up. You have nothing to do. And that's why experts are on and private investigators involved. That's exactly why. I know why. That's exactly why. So that's my thing. Ooh, excuse me. Can't drop this. But that's exactly why it's happening the way it is. And I'm cool with that. I just want to make sure that things make sense because I'm looking at a situation that's going on and it really doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. And let me say this in Zabella's defense. It's less about hiding and more about the fact that people aren't being condemned for choices they're making. So I don't blame her. There's a lot going on and people aren't being condemned for it. It seems like people get a pass. And she's actually received direct threats from people that I saw in the past. And I linked them up with other people that got threats. And that's one thing, that never goes away. If you made that threat, that ain't never gonna go away. You did that. That's out there. You put that into space. You could delete the DMs. You could do whatever. That's already gotten. But I'm just curious as to why such level of hatred is coming from people that really cared about someone. That has me a bit confused. I'm not getting it. But if we're talking about the different things I spoke on this week, a lot does make sense. And that's being respectful as I can be. You know what I mean? A lot started to make sense. And I'm looking into it. If anybody could back up proof of what was talked about yesterday, that would be good. And before I get out of here, let me ask this. I seen something very strange. And this has to do with Geneva. Geneva, how were just your eyes black? I'm looking at the picture. Now, when a fight happens or something happens or someone's beating them up, yeah, you can get hit in the eye, but usually the face is also bruised. It was specifically your eyes. Like, I'm gonna be real. Allegedly, it looked like makeup. I'm thinking, and it's designated to a certain spot around your eyes. And I'm trying to think. Now, I seen the women that were bruised and beaten. One had her eye black and her jaw was very swollen. Your jaws weren't swollen. You had nothing swollen, but your eyes were black. Why would someone consistently just hit your eyes and not hit your mouth, your jaw, nothing? I find that very strange. I was looking and looking. I'm like, wait. I was like, I know I'm not making this up. I was like, I know I'm not this out of it. I was like, something ain't right. I was like, how is this possible? I'm saying to myself, something is going on. Like, what is happening here? So I did more research into it. And the thing I'm starting to see, in one shot, your eyes dark and swollen. In another shot, your eyeballs just red and different things. So it's like, how are you posing like this after it happened? Like it's nothing. Like that's not something you pose about. Who'd you take the pictures for? I'm a little confused on this. That's where I'm at right now, that situation. I'm a little, you know, I'm a little skeptical. I've never seen that before. I looked around, I seen many beating photos, and for your eyes to look like that, your cheeks should have been swollen too. It should have just been your eyes. That's very odd. I've never seen that. Because if you're catching contact in certain areas, it's going to swell up the overall face. And it just looked like your eyes were real puffy. And that's what really got me when I was looking at the picture. I was like, I've never seen something like that. Usually the face should be too. It shouldn't just be the eyes. That's an odd occurrence. So that's my thing. Guys, stop fighting. Because the ultimate thing is just about progression. And we're all about business and teamwork. Because the problem is not what's going on and live like that because everybody wants the same outcome. Don't do that. Don't be like that. We're better than that. We have more to do than that. This is part of an empire. It's about movements. It's about motion. Don't ever let your emotions get flushed. There's no reason for that. You know, I'm not going to be like everybody else and allow it to just go on. I gotta be honest. And my thing is, the same reason you do things, others have reasons for things. It's okay to disagree. You don't have to go to war to disagree. We can agree to disagree. What my problem is when authority abuses their power, or someone that is labeled a criminal is able to get ins and outs from authority, but then they want to go arrest people for the same thing. We got a problem. Those are problematic things. This is the same energy you need to take to people abusing their power. We have a broader mission here. It's not just with this story. This is how you set the tone for other stories. You know, I've done many different ones. You still see the Kanika, 88,000. Some of the ones I did first in this story, 21,000, 15,000, 16,000. I've hit every number of the thousands already. We're not even getting into the midst of things because we're not even looking at the industry. We know kidnappings are occurring. We know minors are going missing. But the question is, where are they going missing to? Who's picking them up? How can an officer of the law ride around daily, every day now, making decisions and not see of danger someone who's hanging around minors? How does that happen? Haven't you ever asked that? How's an officer of the law missing the fact that someone's getting kidnapped? It's a lot of people's kids too, dog. It's a lot of people's kids, and you're looking for black people. But I'm telling you, I seen an elder Caucasian man with a 10-year-old. I remember you guys pulled up on me when I was drinking coffee, walked outside. It doesn't make sense. We're going to get back to it.